Hello and welcome into Unity in Our Community. Hi guys, it's Unity in Our Community. It's Wednesday. We're here till 3 p.m. on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM. Thank you for tuning in. And today I've got some very special guests in the studio from Mend Community. And Mend is a non-profit organisation that works nationwide to empower British Muslims to tackle Islamophobia by engaging with institutions more effectively, particularly media and politics. So I would like to welcome you guys. Thank you so much for coming down to the studio today. I know you've travelled quite far, so welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Jess, for inviting us on and giving us a platform to talk about our work. Hi, listeners. My name is Tasnim, or Taz for short. I don't know if it's worth anything, but I've just driven down from Midlands today to be here, and I'm really happy. Sharifah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sharifah. I'm just a volunteer. Well, not just a volunteer, as Taz says, but, you know, I'm just looking forward to this interview, really.
Hi, Jess.
Hiya.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
And it's really, thank you for giving us the opportunity over here, which is live. Good afternoon, listeners. Peace be upon you and assalamu alaikum to all listeners. My name is Farooq and I'm over here with you and with Jess and with my team, where we are going to discuss about Islamophobia and how to tackle Islamophobia.
So if you just start, give us a brief history of how Mend formed. Where did it all start?
Oh, that's an interesting question, because I think that probably predates when we sort of joined.
Okay.
But it's definitely been over like 10 years now, and it actually started as something called I Engage, and then we sort of shifted on to now what we know as Muslim engagement and development. And really, what happened was when it started. I think in the founders' words is that what we looked for was these gaps in the community, areas that weren't being done by any other organisation. So, one thing about Mend that puts us, I think, in a different respect to other organisations or Muslim organisations is that we're not like a missionary organisation or a dawah organisation. We're not like an umbrella organisation made of membership. We are very much like a grassroots organisation that started by identifying what exactly was needed in the community at the time, and particularly following a lot of, post 9/11 and a lot of this, Islamophobic sentiment and hate crime and racism. And so that's really where it started. And now we've sort of evolved into doing a lot more work. And we do initially, our primary goal is to engage with, like, for example, media and political institutions. But now we try to engage with schools and other bodies to really represent what the sort of community needs. So I think that's just like a brief history of sort of who we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all remember the exact moment when 9/11 happened and how lots of things changed. I mean, I remember it, watching it. I got dragged into a pub somewhere because they had a TV, and just being like, wow, it was a bit of a crazy moment in history, wasn't it? And then I remember some people that I knew, they changed their names straight away.
Yeah.
From Muslim names.
Yeah.
Because they were concerned. So yeah, that was a big turning point. But if I turn to you, like, why is it important to tackle Islamophobia? Because we do actually see it everywhere, don't we? And I feel as a British person that we've been given this narrative, since 9/11. And that's why I'm so glad you're here. We need to change the kind of judgment. I've had Salima and Muntaz on the show, and they've talked about growing up and in Cardiff and wearing hijabs and like some of the things that personally happened to them, and so it's really good to have these conversations. So why do you think it's still important in 2023, obviously?
Well, I have to take it to a little bit back in the history.
Sure.
When, roughly 70-80 years ago, when people started migrating to UK from other parts of the world. At that time, challenge was to find the space for prayers as well as for finding the halal food. Yeah. And within the timeline, it becomes a lot easier for the people to understand the importance of the prayers and the halal food. However, what I see when I go to malls, schools and at workplace and talking to my other friends and work colleagues, Islamophobia exists. By identifying and passing the derogatory comments on your dress, beard, hijab, headscarves to tackle Islamophobia, MEND is doing a great job. Few years back, MEND arranged their first event in Cardiff about Islamophobia, and I attended that meeting.
When was that?
Somewhere in 2015 or 2016.
Yeah.
And within that meeting, when I listened to the speaker and looked at the manifesto, one of the key things that I have to highlight over here is that somewhere in 2008, whilst I was with my wife and with my 3 kids, age 2, 3 and 4, and my whole family was attacked. They removed my wife's headscarf, beated us, and said to us, go back to your country.
Where was that, sorry?
Somewhere in, the Handra Lake in St. Malins, right? So it was a news. It came into part of the news, local news, that when the decision was made by the judge in 2008, after showing the video, because at that time had the mobile phone camera and that was recorded, and that gives a complete proof of evidence that it was attacked by them. This was the changing or turning point for me, and at that time we all ended up in the hospital.
I'm so sorry. That sounds horrific for you and your family.
Yes, with fractured nose for me, as well as we were in a trauma for multiple years where the support was given by the government in serious.
Yeah, if we could just for a moment, just take a minute and just, you saying that everything changed for you in that moment.
Yes.
Is that because obviously you didn't feel safe?
No, not at all. No. Yeah, I was literally scared when I feel that someone is coming or approaching to me, especially not going in the evenings or night time outside, as well as not going, especially I did not go to that Handra Lake for many months. Slowly and gradually, after having consultation, I got a little bit confidence back to normal, because it was really horrific incident that had happened, and literally police and other government organization fully supported us.
Good, that's good to hear.
Yes, and that is one of the key factor or turning point for me to join MEND, because their manifesto explains that we are to support people who are being attacked by Islamophobic and how to tackle Islamophobia.
How to deal with it.
Yeah, how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So this abuse will always be in my heart. I do not want such type of incident happen to anyone else. So I joined MEND, and to raise the awareness within our own community about Islamophobia and let people know how to protect themselves, how to take care, and when they see such type of incident, immediately report. This is the key element.
Yes, so that moves on nicely to who is MEND in Cardiff, and what is your group like, and kind of where are you working, and what are you doing here in this city here in Cardiff?
Oh, it's a lovely city. I love it.
Yeah, I love the diff.
the beauty of that is that whenever you go to the town, people give the smile.
Yes, it's friendly.
Yeah, it's really so friendly. No matter when you just cross, you have a
Be careful, everyone will move here.
Eye contact. And then on top of that, they just give a smile and just say hello.
I love that about here.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see that. So initially, yes. So in a nutshell, it became a great learning curve for me, and MEND is a great platform.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So do you want to just say quickly about some of the things that, before we go to a song, just more of the work and which areas you're working in Cardiff, really?
Okay, well, just to add on to what you sort of asked was about what the Cardiff working group is like. We call them working groups, I don't know why, but they're just a group of volunteers that we have across the UK. And one thing I do want to add is that our group, thankfully, is really representative. So how we operate really is just, we've got these lovely volunteers, people who have full-time jobs and families and commitments from all ethnic backgrounds, different disciplines. Some are teachers and some are project managers managers, and we just come together like once a month to really just pinpoint, what we can do in the community, and anything really that's relevant to, going back to the underpinning of Islamophobia and tackling hate crime. So, for example, some of them will want to do things in schools and raise awareness and work with youth, and some people will want to do something, with, political lobbying. And so we just sort of decide that and come up with these actions in that way. In terms of like some of the stuff that we have done, I think just drawing on like recent stuff in the last 6 to 12 months, we did some events for International Women's Day, but obviously this was in collaboration with other local organizations that are amazing. I think one of them was called Love Yourself, so the women's organization, and we supported another event they did as well, like these women's coffee mornings, and this is important, by the way, just for context for the listeners, is that Muslim women, particularly visibly Muslim women, are particularly vulnerable to Islamophobia, and so it's really important that we work with them. I think some other things we've done is, which Farooq might have touched upon, which he did a lot of work on, is trying to lobby the community. So, for example, he organised this open letter with all the mosques, I think like 20 mosques in Cardiff, and then with the support of, organisations like Citizens Wales and Muslim Council of Wales, there was like an accountability assembly. I don't know if you heard that was about last year, I think, during election time. We platformed that open letter, and on the back of it in the same year, the council, which by the way is monumental given that it's the capital of Wales, is where the largest Muslim population is, adopted the all-party parliamentary definition on Islamophobia, which is amazing. And on the back of that, there's a bunch of commitments as well that we're trying to work on locally. So that's some of the stuff we do. We're very open-minded and creative with all the ways that we can do stuff, and that's where our volunteers take ownership. And that's why, although we have our own campaigns in this calendar, the reason we have our volunteers are like these local community activists, these people who are like the eyes and ears of the community, who are taking ownership of what they feel is needed in that region or in that place. So that's just how we sort of work, really.
Sounds fantastic. Brilliant. And we're going to go to some music now, some nice tunes, and then we'll be back after the news and ads, and we will talk more to these fantastic guests and more about what we can do to tackle Islamophobia. We will be back after this. You're listening to Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM, and this is Unity in Our Community.